In this recording in our series of creating chain geometries, I'd like to create a chain geometry around these edges over here, going all the way around. Now, the issues that we may have over here is that this floor is not exactly perpendicular to our z-axis. It's slightly tilted. So we don't have a constant z. So picking smart face will not work on this. It would just simply not pick it up. Click on it, and you'll see that we have it's like a plane is not perpendicular to the z-axis. And if I try picking an edge, this edge is not constant z around all faces. So it'll only take that edge, and when it gets over here, since this is not on the same z level as this, it's actually tilted down, it will not pick it up, and it will wait for me to pick another edge. I'll click on that one, the same thing will be with the next edge, and so on and so forth. So a constant z cannot be picked on this edge. So what can we do in order to pick that edge automatically? Well, we have the option in constant z called delta z tolerance. By default, it's plus minus 0. That means, in other words, it has to be only on that z. However, if I give it a certain tolerance, allowing me to deviate from the actual z level that this is on, it will allow me to pick that automatically as well. Now, I happen to know that this edge down to this point over here, the difference in the z level is just over 1 millimeter. So I'm just going to give this as plus minus 2 millimeters, as shown over here. And now when I pick this edge, it'll take the whole thing automatically. We have one entire chain picked automatically by allowing it to deviate 2 millimeters in each direction. Now, let's talk about the options that we have on the sides where we have our chain list. And I'll start by clicking on without tangent propagation or constant z. In other words, picking one curve at a time. And let's start even by picking this curve that we have over here. Now you'll note when I pick a curve, it has an arrow showing the direction that the curve is going. In other words, it's going from here towards here. And that's because I picked it relatively close to that edge. Let me uncheck that for a moment. If I pick that instead from this edge over here, you'll see that the arrow will start in this direction. Now, what I can do is we can go down here and click on this button, which is reverse, to reverse the direction. Now, as I've shown you before, we have this set of arrows here showing the suggested direction. So that's the same as this. Just click on that, and it will continue in that direction. This button down here will actually undo what you had just done. In other words, it'll go back one step. This will change the direction of the suggested direction. In other words, if I go over here, you'll see that the suggested direction is going in this direction. If I change that, it'll go in this other direction over here. I can choose whatever I want. Go back here, put it back down here. This one will accept what I have up until that point and having that as a chain, or I can simply click on the X and it'll disregard anything that I've done up until that point. In our next recording on this series, we'll talk about the other options we have, such as curve and closed corners, loops, point to point, and arc by points.